What's up, Internet? We're back again. Another class skip for all the right reasons. I don't even got to say my name, but I will. It's your boy Seez'n. And with me today, I have an intellectual creative, another intellectual creative, and a bass slapper, and just all around in tune with the sounds. Emmanuel Pedroza,
What's going on, guys?
a.k.a.
Thanks for having me.
Andy.
Dude. Yeah.
Thank you for coming through, man.
Hell yeah. It's a pleasure to come over here, kick it with you guys.
Yeah, man. So how's your year been so far?
You know, apart from the way that it's been the same for all of us, that maybe I don't have to say.
Yeah.
It's been like a bittersweet type of thing, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
On the bitter side, it blows with music, you know, especially putting stuff out. You want to play shows.
Cause you put out 2 projects.
Yeah, during this time.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you stayed creative and you stayed busy. So that's good. Like you said, it does suck that you can't showcase it in person, and you like obviously congregating and being in venues. It's probably not gonna happen for a while, and that's like the bitter side of things, like you said.
Yeah, and then but the good side is because of all this time just being at home and having to figure out like. You basically have to invent reasons in a band why you guys have to get together.
Yeah.
Because if you're just getting together to jam, it's very easy to say like, "I'm not gonna make it this week," you know, or stuff like that.
Yeah,
Everyone
definitely.
will do it. You have to have like a goal.
Yeah, stay creative while with a purpose too.
Yeah, and so we've been like figuring out ways to keep everybody motivated to learn stuff and like get that done. But more than that, I've just been writing a ton of music.
That's good.
Because I have a lot of time.
Hell yeah.
So it's like, damn, you know, it's like we don't get to play shows for these songs. But now I have all kinds of newer stuff that I'm stoked on.
Yeah, and I think that there's a positive side in that too. You get your listeners to really sit with these projects and get excited for the moment when you guys do get to play live.
Totally.
You know, they'll be ready. Because I know as soon as we're allowed to go back into music venues, best believe, even if it's on a Tuesday and my homies are playing, I'm going to make the drive. I'm going to try to make up for lost time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
So we all are. Yeah, everyone's anticipating, and I think everyone's stoked on that, along with also hopefully learning a lot about themselves internally through this time. And I'm sure like you have with writing, and I'm sure you've become an even better musician through this time, just sitting and writing and learning about yourself.
Yeah, I think so, and I hope so.
Yeah.
You know? I think I have, just because it's like you just got to keep making stuff.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, I've also fucking watched so many movies in this time. So
Hell
that's
yeah.
been sick.
And has it inspired your writing at all?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Big time, man. Movies are very inspiring for me.
Fuck yeah. So we'll get into the newest projects and then being inspired by movies, but I want to start off with like the origins of your story. Where were you born and raised?
Born Fountain Valley Hospital.
Okay.
Raised in like Garden Grove, Santa Ana kind of area.
This whole area of Orange County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Central OC, basically.
Central OC.
Yeah, Garden Grove School District mainly.
Hell yeah. And then how was your like social circle in school? How'd you operate? Did you have like a lot of friends? You play sports, or have you always been playing music?
It was music pretty early.
Early?
Super early, yeah. Because I have an older brother.
Okay.
He's 3 years older.
Definitely.
So that helps to like, my tastes were not a 5th grader's tastes.
Yeah.
It was an 8th grader's taste.
For sure.
Because I wanted to be like my bro.
So you always had a little bit more sophisticated, elder, perspective on music.
Not even just on music, just in general, like
movies and
like outside of school. I was kicking it with my brother's friends.
Hell yeah.
They were the ones who played music with. Like we started a band.
Okay.
And they needed a bass player, and I was like the temp.
Yeah.
And then we just got along. So it was just like, you know, my brother was like, I don't want my little bro in the band.
Yeah.
But they're like, sorry.
He could hang. He's cool.
In the band.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and so bass was legitimately the first instrument that you touched and got like familiar with. It wasn't guitar.
And that was bass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it about the bass that made you feel like, well, you said they needed a temporary bass player, but you still play bass, and I consider you being an extremely well bass player. But
sick, dude. Thanks.
What like you stuck with it, and usually I know, even though in my opinion if you got a sick bassist in a band, and there's not many out in the world that get enough credit, in my opinion, but if you got a sick bassist, like that and the drummer are vital parts of the soul of music,
Yeah,
you know?
dude. Hell yeah.
So I asked this because, like, in my opinion, people going to bass and sticking with it, I find it usually rare. You know, mostly people want guitar, people want drums, vocals, you know?
Yeah. I do play all those now.
Yeah. I
So
know
I
you
added those things on.
definitely.
But I never let go of bass.
Yeah.
And actually, it's still the thing I play the most. Like, on my stuff, I play pretty much everything. You know, I'll ask homies to come in and do it.
For sure.
And I want to collaborate more now.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got that out off my chest, the doing everything.
Definitely.
But in Choppies, my other band,
Yeah.
I'm the bass player.
Hell yeah.
You know, live.
Uh-huh.
So that's why it just keeps it active.
Yeah.
I like being the bass player in a band. I think that's like where I serve the best purpose.
For sure.
In the band.
Bringing the grooves, making people move.
Yeah.
You know?
Just that's where I feel comfortable and I feel like confident.
Definitely.
On the bass live.
No, that's a good perspective, and nothing but respect towards that. But what were you listening to as a kid, bass wise, that where you're like, yeah, this is where I want to hone in this craft, and these sounds that I'm hearing make me want to get better at the bass.
It was like the early shit was like Sublime,
Hell yeah.
Rage Against the Machine.
Of course.
Those bass lines were nuts.
Yeah.
Still are.
Yeah.
And then the big one was Zeppelin.
Hell yeah.
Once I got to Zeppelin, I was like, game over. That's how I want to play bass.
Fuck yeah.
Just like that guy, John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then so when you were doing music as a kid with your brother's band, what kind of music was it?
It was like I guess it didn't sound exactly like it because we had a lot of influences, but it was like at the drive-in-ish. We wanted to be at the drive.
A little bit harder, a little bit more alternative rock.
Yeah, kind of screaming vocals, but
tight.
still melodies.
And what year was this? This had to be like 2000.
It's like
2003.
Yeah, 03, 04,
Hell
05.
Yeah.
That's the first band.
Hell yeah. So you started early, and then do you come from a lineage of like is music in your blood? Because I know as a Latino, like we're blessed with a lot of family members actually being good at music.
Yeah.
You know, just a natural talent.
Part of the culture.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of musicians in your family.
Yeah. I think it started from my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
He was a badass musician.
What do you play?
Guitar and vocals.
Nice.
You know, he's a super badass, and then he taught my tios how to play, and then my tias all sing.
Hell yeah.
And like I have a ton of cousins, and I think at some point they've all either sang or played something, at least dabbled in it.
Definitely.
You know? But not everyone sticks to it.
So yeah, some people just do it as a hobby for fun, and then some make it a dedicated part of their life.
Yeah, you just like it a lot.
Yeah. So you definitely have a lot of family that played music. But like I'm privileged and honored to have friends, and even as a kid, have an uncle that put me on music that I was like, like I find the most joy in just listening to music and learning about it, you know?
Sick.
So did you have the same perspective too?
I don't think I got like super into music through my tios and stuff, even though they played, in front of us all the time during like get-togethers and shit.
Definitely.
I appreciated it, and it was always cool. You just take it for granted as a kid. Like, you assume everybody has tios that sing in harmony and shit. And then once I got into like music myself, then it was like, oh shit, these guys, they play all the time too. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like another way we connected with our tios and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But now you kind of have to find it on your own before it connects. And
you're lucky you had an older brother that you said to put you on to a more sophisticated palette of even if it was alternative rock, our tios and our tias might find that a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more shocking, but for us, that era of music definitely was like our soul in it, like especially bands like At the Drive-In and Mars Volta. I know how they influence people and they have a cult following.
Yeah, I'm in that cult still.
Hell yeah.
I don't listen to them like I used to, but that's still.
Yeah, we're older and they haven't put out projects in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So we definitely, the main thing is we respect that legacy and that era of a lot of those bands, but the main thing is never forgetting that goddamn music keeps you going. It keeps you alive. You know, even if you're just, even as a listener, I'm not even a musician, but listening to your guys' projects, and especially during this quarantine, like it really, music definitely helped me out from being a lot more angry or a lot more depressed than it could be.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even going back and listening to old music that I didn't even listen to, like there's a playlist that my roommate put me on. It's like a bunch of tiki music from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, sick.
And I listen to that, and I'm like, yo, they make, even in that, as obscure and as random as this music is, like, I could feel the soul, and I could feel, like, the atmosphere, and it just takes me to, you know, it fits this backyard perfect. You know, when I listen to it, I'm like,
palm trees.
Yeah, it's a lot of greenery.
Hell yeah.
A lot of vibe, a lot of soul. But yeah, so.
But you got to check out this band called Monster Rally.
Monster Rally?
Yeah.
I for sure have heard the name. But
I
don't know
if
if
it's like tiki music, but he's a producer, so he's like chopping it up,
Hell yeah,
like layering it,
and he makes it into like a
beat.
Hell yeah, hell yeah,
with like fucking tiki sounds. Dude.
Oh, we're gonna have to listen to this after that.
Dude. Hell yeah,
Monster Rally. Hell yeah. But yeah, so I say all that to say is like music has definitely kept me sane through in an insane world.
Hell
not to sound like a fucking MySpace quote or whatever, but
no, dude.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you're talking to a musician, so like. I feel you 100%.
Yeah,
you know, it's
for sure.
For me, it's not so much listening, but I do get that too. You know? It's nice when you could just enjoy music as a listener. Like for me, sometimes I find myself listening more to podcasts.
Yeah, a lot more, you know, verbal audio.
Yeah, because I listen to music all the time, jamming it or making it and stuff, that I kind of get burnt out. But it's super important to listen to it, man, because it does change your entire mood.
For sure. No, and it does. It's powerful, and that's why to go back to the situation of like where people made it like a lot of people don't prioritize music in their life. Rightfully so. It's a diverse, big ass world.
Yeah.
People don't have to
do the same shit.
Yeah, it's more more for people like us to, you know, make it a thing that we love. But as a kid, when you grew up listening to a little bit more of a diverse sound because you had an older brother.
Yeah.
The like friends that you were hanging out with at school, were you doing music with them too, or was it more just like doing kid hangout shit?
At school, I had a bunch of different homies. You know, I had more like my classroom homies.
Yeah.
That I kick it with in class.
Yeah.
And, like we talk about school stuff. You know.
Yeah.
And then I had my homies at lunchtime, but they were more metalheads. You know, they were not really into the stuff I was into.
Yeah.
But it was cool. You know, we could
appreciate
the metal stuff that we both liked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'd like. Oh,
and what were metal bands that you guys
It was like thrash. You know.
Yeah.
All the 80s
Anthrax
thrash
and
stuff.
yeah.
That was where I really liked it.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you know, maybe a little more like Don Caballero.
Okay.
And like Russian Circles kind of stuff.
Fuck yeah.
It's heavier, but I don't know if it's metal.
I would say they have like, I feel like it's more, especially a band like Russian Circles, like their cinematic sound in metal, you know?
Yeah.
It sounds a lot bigger and it's a lot more, it feels like it's a lot more theatrical.
Yeah.
I fuck with it.
Yeah.
I really like that whole branch and that weird.
They got like clean songs too.
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
All clean songs. Those are sick.
Yeah, they're awesome. Have you ever seen them live?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Damn, I would love to see them live. But yeah, so it was like that aspect. So you got a good diverse taste in growing up, you know, in school.
Definitely.
And then going to hang out with your brother and obviously your brother's friends.
Yeah.
Pissing them off because they're like, your brother can hang and be in a band.
Yeah, he was like, dude, this guy's annoying the shit out of me, dude. We got to kick his ass out. And they're like, dude, we're not kicking him out. Sorry.
He's staying. He's staying.
And then there's like this funny ass story where they did a 3-way call, like my other homies, David, Julian, and my brother Chris.
Okay.
And they did a 3-way call, and my brother's like, dude, we gotta, you know, kick this little dude out.
Yo, he was being adamant on kicking you out?
Yeah, and then they called me afterwards on the 3-way call. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, your brother just tried to kick you out.
Oh man, and see that shout out to your brother's homies, because even though as an older brother I only have a younger brother, so and I don't think I would ever be. I was pretty mean to my brother, but not like in the aspect where I didn't want him hanging out.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that you're shout out to your brother's friends for being like, nah, he's staying.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it was cool.
That's cool.
It was a good moment.
And then throughout middle school, that was middle school when you started jamming with them, right?
Yep.
And then obviously into high school, you stayed playing music.
Yeah.
And then did you have any bands in high school?
Yeah, so there was that first one with my brother, and then that one didn't last that long. It was only like 2-3 years. But because you're little kids, that feels like a long ass time.
Definitely.
You know, it's like your first
For
relationship.
For sure.
You're like, oh, that was the big one.
Yeah.
Even though it was the little one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so after that one, it was cool because it was like a testing period, because it's like, all right, we don't have a band. You know what I mean? Our drummer did his own thing, and then my brother did his thing. So then it was just like me and the homie Julian, and we're like, well, he just graduated from high school, and I'm like,
and you were still in high school, obviously.
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore, probably. Sophomore.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I'll just pick you up after you're out of school, because he wasn't working. He's like, and then we'll go to your grandma's and we'll jam.
Hell yeah.
And so we just started jamming as a 2-piece, and then recruited a homie as a 3-piece, started another band, you know, and then just snowballs into other bands.
So where does like Demo and Christian come in for? Because you guys was Flying Hand, was it one of your? Yeah. That's where I got introduced to you.
Yeah.
And that was at the Detroit bar. And I was just talking to Spence about that.
Yeah.
You guys actually somehow you met up with you came in contact with Mike in Sangre, and then he was like, "Yo, I'm opening up for these guys. Come check out the show."
Oh, sick.
And then from there, I was like, "Yeah, these guys are fucking sick." So
hell yeah.
So when did Flying Hand come in to?
That came later. So I met Chris and Themo in high school.
Okay.
They were in another band called Sybil.
Okay.
And then
what was that sound like? Do you remember?
Yeah, they were crazy. They were heavy.
Heavy.
Very heavy.
Okay.
Very technical.
Okay.
And they would change styles like 4 times within one song.
Hell yeah.
So like it would go from like, and then the next part's like a polka. Boom.
They're just
like all over the
some
place.
next level off the wall shit.
Crazy shit. Yeah.
And you know, Christian and Temo both. I want to get them eventually to come speak their piece.
Yeah.
But so those two have always been doing this music shit too for as long as you can remember.
Super early.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
And so you met them do you guys all went to high school together?
No, they went to Santa Ana High School.
Okay.
I went somewhere else, Los Amigos,
and
then we just saw them through shows.
All right.
You know, I think there was like mutual friends a little bit, as there always is, like when there's a high schools close by.
Yeah, especially in music. If you got one homie that plays music, you're gonna get introduced to someone else that plays music. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And where were you guys? Where were you watching them play? Or were you guys meeting at shows in high school?
In high school, I think the first time I saw those dudes play was at the Alley in Fullerton.
That was my church in high school too.
Yeah, dude.
But like it was for more metal hardcore shows, you know?
Yeah.
I was there every Friday, Saturday.
They were like that. They were super heavy.
Hell yeah.
So I saw them and I was like, these guys are fucking tearing this place down. It's like super heavy.
Yeah.
It's really heavy shit.
Hell yeah.
And it was cool. I was like, damn, I don't know anyone who gets down like this. Like our shit's way more loose than that.
Yeah.
Theirs was very tight.
But you still respected the aspect of that they were coming in and honing in on their craft, and they were passionate about.
No, I was impressed for sure. I was like, damn, they're fucking precise.
And so the Alley, and then I think about all those, like, you guys went to a different high school and grew up in a different part of Orange County, but I think about that moment in high school where we had the Alley, we had Chain Reaction, we had all of the local Whittier spots.
I don't know the Whittier spots.
Yeah, the Whittier spots cracked off, like the Whittier Red Cross. There's a bunch of churches that held shows, and it would crack. There was like 300. Like there's a church called Whack up in Uptown Whittier, but it had a big gym, and I remember Marsh and all those guys when they were in bands.
You met them there?
I went to high school with all those guys,
right.
So we would always support each other at shows and places like the Alley. And that's where I seen Marsh first play was the Alley.
Sick.
Yeah. So it definitely was a monumental staple. But I bring that up is because it's like I'm so glad that in high school we had those spots to congregate as youth and fucking express ourselves, whether it's watching our homies play music and mosh or as a band, as a musician, you get to play, you know?
Did those dudes or you guys ever play out at the like the Fullerton train stop? Right next to the train tracks?
I'm sure there's definitely been some people that played in that area that I know, but not that I know of. I don't remember any shows happening there.
Yeah.
But you guys, I'll take it as you guys
did.
did.
We played there maybe 3-4 times.
That's dope.
Like literally the train passes like 20 feet from you. It's
Yeah.
all fucking loud.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was perfect.
Yeah, it's a cool setting.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and that's the thing. It's like I'm sure if there was videos taken of it, maybe not back in the day because cameras were pretty shitty, but
There's some shitty footage out there somewhere, maybe. Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's a good it sets a good tone to play in the local area. But that's what I mean. It's like I feel like it's not the same anymore, local venue wise, where people had areas to go and fill up and occupy and watch music play. I mean, we still have Chain. I haven't been to Chain in forever. I'm glad that it didn't get shut down. It got saved. The youth needs that place.
Yeah.
And
the people spoke.
Yeah, and we have the observatory.
Yeah, that is something we did not have as kids. Is the observatory.
It was the Galaxy Theater back in the day.
But they didn't book like they book now.
Yeah, they don't book like the more local.
What's poppin' stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like now they always have great acts, or like when shows were a thing.
Yeah.
But as kids, maybe I wasn't plugged in, but I feel like the people who were playing there were not like the really good bands.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I was too young to know.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely had more just like festival-esque, vibes of how the shows they put on.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of metal festivals that got put on there, so that's how I first heard of it. But yeah, so high school, you would go see them play at the Alley, and did you play the Alley growing up in high school too?
I think we played it once or twice. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Such a monumental spot, and I miss it.
I miss it too. That place was cool. That was like one of the places that felt like a legit venue to play.
Yeah. And it's
like,
crazy.
I'm on a fucking stage.
Yeah. My homie West that I just interviewed not too long ago, we were talking about how one of the first Alley shows that they played, they ended up playing with the Pack. Remember the Pack, the Van song? Got my Vans on, but it looks like sneakers. Yeah, so they played, and Tyga ended up opening up the whole show.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so it was just random because it was like crazy to see the whole, in hindsight, where that led, obviously, his career.
Yeah, that's
led off.
crazy.
And obviously Lil B was in the Pack, so to see Lil B do his thing. And it was just like there's a lot of cool random people that
there.
went. Yeah, it had history.
Totally. 100%.
So that's cool. So you ended up meeting with Christian and Temo later on, or in high school, and then later on forming Flying Hand when?
That was like, I don't know, maybe I was like 24, 23, 24, around there.
Okay.
And that was after we did like a couple other things. And then we just said, like, why don't we just converge our bands? You know what I mean? And like, do something like... No, see, I get all confused because since I've known those guys so long, dude, it's like funny to talk about the different bands. Because it's like...
There was a project before Flying Hand that you guys were jamming?
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's like maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was like Sybil. I played bass. It was a different version of Sybil.
All right.
And then after that was Satellite Spatter. That was...
that sounds pretty crazy. Was that like Mars Volta-esque or what?
No, this is like our first foray into being like indie rock.
Okay.
Before that was a little more Volta-ish.
Okay.
A little more wild. This is the first time we're trying to write songs.
All right.
That make sense,
Yeah.
So pretty cool, Not a, we barely made anything. Really.
Yeah, but you guys were trying to still figure out a sound,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then after that was, I think we just stopped doing that one.
Okay.
Satellite Spatter. We stopped after that. And then Temo and this dude started Flying Hand without me. I joined a little later as a bass player.
All right.
And then that shit evolved over the years.
Yeah.
That was like 4 or 5 years on that band. That was kind of a long one.
Yeah, you guys did. You guys were around for a long time, and then you guys obviously played, like, the first time I saw you guys play was Detroit Bar, and then you guys also played the Prospector in Long Beach. So you guys made your way. You guys were definitely staying consistent with playing shows.
We were around.
In the local area.
We were around. We played, wherever we could in Santa Ana, and then towards the end of it, Long Beach had a lot of cool venues.
Still does. There's a lot of cool spots.
Yeah, there's places to play there. So that's what we liked, that there was places to play, and you don't have to like sell tickets and crazy shit like that, like a Chain Reaction.
Yeah. It was more just like as long as you're cool and you're connected,
to show up, bring
come
people.
through. Yeah. So then after Flying Hand, that was maybe about like 5 years ago or something, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you guys kind of split up and did your own thing.
Exactly. Yeah, we just kind of decided to end it there, and then it was pretty cool, I think, in the end for everybody, because it was like hard to like decide what songs were gonna be in the band.
Yeah.
We had so many ideas of stuff to do.
And I'm sure you guys, specifically you three and everyone else in the band, you guys are very passionate about the sounds you put out. So I'm sure that it was easier for you guys to just be like, look, let's just go. We'll all be homies and do music forever. Yeah. But like, I'm gonna go and try to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Probably with all due respect. And if you need my help, I still got you.
Totally.
You know?
It was that kind of a thing where it was like, I'm just writing my own songs, and then Tim was writing his own songs, and then we're showing them to each other, and we're kind of deciding what's going to be the band. It's like we're not even writing together.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and then whatever you guys don't like, I'm going to put out myself. So it's like, why don't we just do that?
So in between, after that break, did you go into another like musical project, or you just stayed doing your own solo stuff?
That's when I first did like my first solo stuff. Really.
Okay.
Like
as your name.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
As Emmanuel.
Yeah. And you put out that it was an album in 2017.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing I put out like that, as myself, that I sang on and stuff. So
that was your first time ever singing on like a full on record that you wanted to put out.
Yeah, like on the Flying Hand stuff. There were some songs that I sang, but we never ended up finishing them.
Yeah, you did
and then I did backup vocals, but I never did a lead vocal on a recording that was out, for people to hear. So yeah, that was, for me, I was like, it was just a moment where I was like, fuck it.
And did you always want to do, were you always singing on your own, like even as a kid? Did you like singing?
Not as a kid. I don't think I started singing until like my early 20s or something like that. Like,
and what inspired you to bring out the vocals?
'Cause the homies were singing and writing songs. You know, they were writing songs in the bands that I was in, and they were coming in with vocals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those seem to be the ones that you work on, 'cause they sound like songs.
Yeah.
Because they are songs.
Hell yeah.
And I was coming in with cool chords and shit, and like, check out this cool thing. And they're like, yeah, but check this one out. It's already done. It's like, you're right. We got to do that one.
Hell yeah.
I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
So then I had to start writing songs just to be able to contribute the way I wanted to, you know what I mean? Because I always have ideas. Even as a kid, like when I was just a bass player in the first bands and stuff, I still felt like I was co-writing the songs, you know? Like helping with ideas. And
definitely, stuff. Yeah. You weren't just the bassist that kicks it in the back.
Yeah,
you always
follows
had,
it.
Yeah, you always had a say in it. And then what inspired you, vocals wise? What were you listening to that you're like, I kind of want to take a little bit of this sound of vocals? Because in my opinion, I know this might sound, you might take this as I'm fucking around, but like you really do give me the vibe of like the Beatles. You know, you have a very, when I listen to it, it's very atmospheric, and it's a good feeling sound when you sing.
Oh hell yeah!
You know, and as well as other indie bands that I've listened to growing up across the way, but you definitely remind me of, your vocals at least remind me of that.
Nice
sound of music.
I mean, I love the Beatles. You know, there's no denying their influence on me, and like, that's pretty much where I learned how to write songs. Is just learning their songs.
Okay.
You know, and other people too.
Yeah,
of course. But I can't deny how much Beatles songs
I'm sure
I've learned so many of them over the years.
Yeah, I as a person that has a bunch of musician homies, like the Beatles is obviously
always
9 times out of 10 what inspired them to, you know, dive into music in itself. But so yeah, so what were you listening to that you're like, okay, I want to on your first solo project that you released in 2017, what were you listening to vocals wise and music that you're like, this is this is the sound that I kind of want to take and throw my own twist on it?
You know, it wasn't even like that at that point.
Okay.
Maybe it was like that earlier, but by that point it was more like I wanted to write cool songs, but I wasn't trying to make it sound like something else.
Yeah.
For my vocal part, like now when I listen to that first album, I'm like, all right, some of this stuff is not my style, but I did it.
Yeah, because at the time it fit right with the sound that was
with
coming
the song,
out.
What I wanted the song to be, but I think I was forcing some styles on my voice that I didn't pull off.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know, whatever.
And that's cool, and that is super cool. That I respect that you were trying to do something just out of your own mind and soul, creating, you know. And then later on, 2017, you didn't release anything until later on.
Till like this year.
Yeah. and that's when you dropped the first. It was an EP, and back in what, March?
That was like March, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's super cool. I mean, I've been going back and listening to it, and I was like, I really like that you give the concise amount of songs that I like. I like six, hitters.
Cool.
So
It was like the right amount for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously the newest one too. With the newest EP is 4.
Yeah.
Incredible pieces of music. But I say all that to say is when you dropped that in March, how long were you working on that one? How lengthwise before you decided to drop it?
It really, I don't know how to put it. Each song on it is a different age. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like.
So you had these lying around for a while in that space that you took from releasing your first album.
Yep.
And then you like kind of just held on to it, kind of perfected it along the way,
or just let it sit there for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you come back to it one day and you hear it and you're like, that would fit right here, right? And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I have like on my hard drive, there's songs from last week that I started. And then there's songs from 3 years ago. And when I go to write down like what songs could I put on the next thing, it's definitely on the list. I gotta remember it.
Yeah,
because it's like, what if it fits?
Yeah, and you could even if it doesn't fit as a song that you have stored, you could take a piece of it that you still feel you can bring into the future project.
Yeah, totally.
Too. So that's cool.
Steal the lyrics.
Yeah, steal the lyrics, steal a bridge or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
That's dope. And the first EP that I noticed on the first track you had demo Choppies.
Yep.
The whole band helped with that song, or is it?
He just came in on the vocals.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that one. I think I play everything on that one.
Dope.
Just his vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as well as the rest of the songs too, is it just you, or do you get help from other musicians on the first EP?
On the first EP, Chris Orozco plays drums on a few of the songs.
Dope. Yeah.
The ones that probably sound tighter.
Yeah. For sure.
And then Temo Chapis, he sings on a couple songs. And then
you did all the keys and the
I did most of it.
Soundscapes on the back. That's dope.
Yeah. But yeah, all my homies come in when they can. You know what I mean? I show them everything before it comes out, and I ask them if they hear anything all the time. But I'm not a good director, so it's like if you have an idea when I show it to you, I'm gonna encourage you. And if it's like maybe not, then I'll be like, no worries.
Yeah.
I'll tackle that some other time.
Yeah, you're pretty. Seems like you're pretty easy to work with, and when it comes down to
yeah.
And then where'd you record it at? Like what was it, a studio or out of your house?
We have a rehearsal space.
Okay.
So it's just in that rehearsal space when there's quiet moments, and then probably a little bit at Temo's.
Okay.
So when I cruise to his pad, he has stuff to record there.
All right.
So there's probably some stuff there, but mostly at our rehearsal space. So it's like on some of the songs, if you like could solo out just the vocal, you would hear a metal band practicing in the back.
That's hilarious.
Like, I had to record it, and that was the take I kept.
Where's this at, in Santa Ana?
Santa Ana, Gemini Studios.
For sure.
Yeah, we've been there.
Hell yeah.
As a rehearsal space for a while, and that's where I record.
And then you also recorded the
new ones.
The newest one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There too?
Yep.
Fuck yeah. And then what was the inspiration to drop 2 projects this year? Like, did you just feel like they needed to come out and you're like, I'm down to release this? And
yeah, what happened was that I'm an album guy.
Okay.
I love listening to a whole album.
Yeah.
Like a big chunk of music that basically it's like a playlist that hopefully it's an artist you like that they curated for you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hear it in this order for the best experience, right?
Definitely.
That's how I look at albums. So I was aiming for a second album, and I just didn't have like a flow of 10 songs or however many. And I tried to work it for like those 2 years or whatever it was between releases, and I just didn't have anything that I liked. And then I just had the ideas like, well, what if I put out several EPs instead of one album.
One album, yeah.
And then I can make that a little chunk that makes sense, and then the next little chunk makes sense, and then the next chunk. And so I just went that way, and then I didn't know how many I was gonna do, but I just decided on 2.
Dope, yeah. And again, they're great pieces of music, so it's cool that you managed to, you know, have an outlet and still keep, you know, your listeners and yourself, you know, creative and give them something to listen to.
Yeah, because that was the plan since probably the end of last year. I was like, EPs, that's the way to go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I already had like had my homie help me make the artwork. Like I was already getting the ball rolling on
for
that
sure.
stuff. And then everything's locking down, and I had to decide. I'm like, should I hold this stuff until I can play shows? Because for me, when I put stuff out, really all it is for me, it's material to use in a live set.
Yeah. And you're a person that really enjoys playing live.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I want to do it as soon as we can, and you know, we're doing a live video soon.
Dope.
With like a full band thing. It's
Dope.
hopefully gonna come out really sick.
And that's for your project? Dope.
Yeah. We have one for Chappie's coming out too.
Super dope.
Yeah. So that's for me, it's like material for a show. Hopefully now I have enough songs to make like a 30-minute set where it's like every second is sick.
For sure.
When you come to watch the show, you're gonna be like, oh shit, they got a lot of good songs.
Hell yeah.
You know, I want it to be like that, where like there's no dull moment in a live set.
And so for 2021, if everything goes well and we're allowed to play live again or see people play live, what do you expect to, or do you want, you know, recognition from a label, or do you still want to keep doing like, you know, independent, just playing shows because you love doing it? Or is this just something that you genuinely want to take it to the next step of like being a musician that also eventually works with any type of, you know, a profession,
established thing?
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely would be interested in that if you know, if it's offered. Yeah, if it's something that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my thought process about it is, because I've sent my stuff to labels and I've done all that with various bands, my own stuff.
Definitely along the whole way. Yeah.
We were doing that, and it just doesn't really work that way, I don't think. You know, so for me, it's like I need to make music that's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
You know? So when people watch us live, they're gonna dig it. And they're gonna want to follow it and hear the recorded version.
Yeah.
Because they liked it.
Definitely.
And then I think my job is to create a fan base. You know.
Just keep building an audience.
Build an audience.
Yeah.
Once I have people that actually like it, if I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Then that attention will come with it.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's cool that you're not really you know, adamant about getting the attention from a label that might want to monetize your music eventually or whatever.
I think I want to start from people that connect with the music.
Definitely.
You know, that's where it should start.
And do you feel right now as an artist, especially you doing your own, you know, releasing your own solo sounds, and you're confident in the releases, do you feel like you just started doing this shit? Like, in the sense of right now, when with these 2 projects, like this is the beginning of a new journey for you musically?
Yeah, I think every time I put something out, it's an opportunity for me to put all my effort behind something. Because, you know, music is a tough business.
Definitely.
You know?
It's vicious.
And
it can be vicious.
And I do it for the love of it, but I also have ambitions beyond that.
Yeah.
And the love that I have for it, and like what I want the music to do, to me it's worth it to show it to people.
For sure.
Because I think that's going to do the talking. Hopefully. That's how I want it to be. The music needs to do the talking, because I'm not a salesman.
Yeah.
It needs to sell itself.
For sure. And so with that being said, have people responded? Are you the type of person that really communicates online with people's feedback from the music?
I try to.
Yeah.
I try to, but it's you know, social media is a weird thing, right? Everyone has a different approach to it.
Everyone has their own way of maneuvering through it.
Yeah.
Connecting.
And like how comfortable they are with different aspects of it, right? So I do what I can. But for me, like, my biggest social media tool like to get involvement and stuff would be like playing shows and then like
putting the content out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then give stickers out so they can follow me and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like that's how I would like to do it like that on a.
You're strictly on the artist aspect of connecting.
Yeah, I don't think I can like push my personality forward and like feel genuine about it.
Yeah.
I'd rather push my music forward.
Yeah.
That I can do with all my heart.
Yeah. Because that in itself is your personality, the music, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like, I made this to share it.
Yeah.
This is what I want to share.
Yeah, man.
You know, like, this should do enough.
No, that's very noble, and that's respect. That's respect, too. Much respect to that perspective because, you know, there's a lot of musicians that I feel like they have to also, they feel kind of pressured to be a personality on social media, too, to entertain the people.
Yeah.
So it's cool when you're...
I feel that pressure personally, like maybe I should do that.
But also if you don't want to force it, like you said.
I don't want to force it.
Mm-hmm. So you got a bunch of new content coming out in 2021 that you've been working on?
So I have a bunch of new content that I'm like, right now I'm like in a writing mode. I just like feel like I'm coming up with a bunch of stuff for some reason.
Dope.
So I'm just going to keep it going.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll put anything new out until shows are back. You know?
Yeah, because you got 2 projects that people could write on for at least half a year.
They could write on that, man.
Yeah.
Because truth is, very few people have heard it so far.
Yeah.
So it's fresh.
Yeah.
Whenever people can hear it, I'll try to put like my live videos out, doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a reason to send things out to people to hear it, and maybe they'll hear this acoustic version and like it better for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I go back on certain bands and I listen to like there's a live performance. There's a couple bands I could think of where I don't listen to them on Spotify, but I go on YouTube to their acoustic performance or their live performance, and I'm like, I love this.
This is
like,
a good one.
Yeah, this is a great one. And I will do I'll listen to the YouTube performance in my car rather than Spotify. You know what I mean? I make an effort because I really love that version. Yeah. So that's cool too. To that aspect. And then with your music, it reminds me. It takes me to a certain time when I've traveled to Oregon and when I traveled to a very greenery spots.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? Like it takes me to a really like happy spot.
Cool.
Especially when I was traveling a lot last year. Do you get inspiration at all from you know traveling at all when we were traveling?
Yeah.
In your music?
I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everything adds to it. You know, because you never know when like something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And you can't just sit in a studio all the time.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work. You're gonna get depressed. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna probably have a more downer.
Yeah, you're
perspective.
gonna get sad and you're gonna write sad songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I still think it's cool that you're saying you get like positive vibes from it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like, do I always write sad songs?
No, it takes me to it's road trip music, man.
Sick.
That's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah,
so.
That's good, man. I like that because I get those vibes from it. I think I want everything to kind of flow into each other.
For sure.
So that'll give you that, like, there's not that many hard edges sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Or you can add hard edges in there. Maybe I don't add them there, so it gives you, like, that smoothness. But that's cool, man. I like that. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've been listening to both projects, the last 2 EPs you put out a lot, and it's just it takes me to a spot where I zone out and I think about all the times that I was, like, hitting the road and traveling and going up to Portland or Seattle and it was just great times, and then definitely takes away from the discomforting feeling knowing that we're still in a goddamn pandemic right now, you know?
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
And we're not going to be able to, you know, socialize in mass groups for a while.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. I really find enlightenment and good feeling from your music. So and it's cool that you have a cool perspective on, you know, seeing life through your music. Like I get a lot of messages of obviously loving the females, loving your friends, loving life.
Yeah.
And you know,
absolutely.
So
yeah,
I feel like that's how you operate, right? You operate in a very optimistic, you know, loving manner in your music.
Yeah, I want to. You know, it's like you want to put out the thing that you feel like you're lacking sometimes.
For
right?
sure.
So for me, it's like especially in times like right now, it's like I want my music to reflect something a little hopeful, because it's dire times. I could talk about that,
for
but
sure.
everyone already knows that.
Yeah,
I
of
don't
course.
need to make you feel that. I need to make you feel like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. A little, even if it's a hopeful high, like it genuinely, or what I mean, even if it's like a momentary hopeful high,
Yeah,
like it's still a good feeling.
totally.
There's two songs that I want to talk about on the last EP that you dropped.
All right.
There's Animal,
Yep.
and then there's Gemini.
Sick.
Are those written by? Was that inspired by the same female? Was it a Gemini that made you act like an animal?
That's a good question. No, it's not.
No, but you definitely had a perspective on. I know Animal's definitely some smooth player shit.
So that song is pretty simple.
Mm.
You know, every song is a fiction on a certain level.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
writing the words as smooth as you can.
Yeah.
That's not how life works, you know.
For sure.
So it's like, but it is inspired by. I woke up one day and I had like a very vivid memory that like took me.
Of a beautiful little thing.
Yeah, from the past.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, damn, that was like exactly like I remember.
Boom, and you wrote a whole song about it.
Yeah, because I had these chords already. All the music was there actually, and I had a song written in Spanish to all that music.
Dope.
And it was just cheesy though. I need to like get over that hump.
For sure,
and
you
just
definitely
start
need
doing
to
it.
hone in on that and like
and just let it flow.
and make it seem and make it feel
Natural.
as natural as you know your English lyrics and stuff.
Exactly.
No, it's I get that.
So I switched it up to these lyrics, and it came out super fast. And I thought it was kind of funny. You know what I mean? And I thought that all the words made sense.
Yeah, it was cool. That's one of my favorite songs for sure. And I know
yeah.
definitely once we get to chill with the beautiful young ladies again on the reg, it's gonna be playing in the background for sure.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah,
and then
it's got a couple little keywords in there.
definitely
It'll pique your ears.
Yeah.
In the right direction.
Exactly. They know what time it is when they hear it.
Yeah.
And then Gemini, I'm not really big on the whole astrology thing, but I know a couple of girls that are always talking about the Geminis being wild ass. And again, you said you wrote it from like a fictional perspective. What was the inspiration behind that though?
Well, the title of it, I won't speak on. I'll just let it be.
Yeah.
But lyrically, yeah, it was just inspired by true events.
And that's another
A little bit, but you just tell a story with it.
for sure. There's a lyric in there. You deserve a trophy for
Waking me up early.
at 6 a.m.
Mhm.
And it got me thinking of girls from the past. That definitely not very many can wake me up at 6 a.m. and I'm in a good mood.
Exactly.
But I've definitely experienced that, and it was like, oh shit, that's a bar right there. You know?
I'm glad you like it.
Hell yeah. So and then so yeah, you have other projects that you're keeping in the shelf. You probably want to perfect and hone in on. So and you said you won't drop them until we're able to see them live.
Yeah, because I got plenty of material right now that I can still push out there and get people to listen to that I spent a whole lot of time on.
Yeah.
And I think I need to like do right by the material if I feel that way, which I do, and just put a little more behind it in like live stuff and like different content. And then once we get shows, make sure those songs are in the live show.
Hell yeah.
So that people hear them live.
Yeah, just for now, letting these two projects sit, do what they do, and then water and perfect your other art that you have sitting in the chamber.
The next one's gonna come out, hopefully, like again, a shift. The next level.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
And before we end this, what inspires you to write lyrically? Do you read a lot of books, or do you watch, like we were talking about movies?
Movies for sure.
What gets the lyrics out?
It depends, man. Like for these two EPs probably, because those songs were written like more like last year and earlier.
More recent stuff.
Yeah, those things I was writing a lot from like my literal experiences and trying to like sprinkle in exact moments with lyrics that I think would
little
rhyme
metaphors and whatnot. Yeah,
exactly. Just trying to make a good lyric out of real stuff. But I don't want to do that too much anymore. I want to be a little more creative lyrically and like say something that doesn't have to be about what happened to me. Like it's a little boring talking about myself all the time. I want to
Okay.
like switch up lyrics.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
make it a little more interesting on the subject matter.
For sure.
Say a little more.
I think your subject matter is interesting now too, but I could tell the only reason I ask because you have a very you know, it's a poetic way of expressing
Cool.
a lot lyrically, you know, and
Nice.
and you again you do it, you package it in a way where me personally, it gives me nothing but positive feelings.
Cool.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from a guy who listens to a lot of aggressive music, going back to sometimes where I'm on a road trip.
Yeah.
I like listening to a lot of metal, or I like listening to a lot of sounds, like even trap music that might turn off a lot of people. Some of my homies can't handle that hard shit, you know.
They're not in the mood for the aggressive.
Soft ass fools, but it's all good. Soft,
Yeah,
being a soft
yeah,
ass
some
fools,
people don't like that.
you got to tap into it, you know.
Yep.
You got to be able to. I like the duality of life. I like being able to listen to aggressive sounds and then listening to music like yours that's more like picturing, you know, nothing
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, exactly. My shit's mostly soft. I think like the hardest I've gotten is Gemini on the chorus.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like, and that's not that hard.
But see, that was one of my favorite songs on the EP. So
I mean, at the end of the day, I wrote it on an acoustic guitar.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
So it's like you're never gonna take that vibe out of it
Mm.
because that's where it came from.
for sure. And I think you personally, again, you're gonna be the background noise for a lot of my camping trips coming up soon,
Cool,
dude.
man. That's perfect.
I'm definitely riding out to that shit for sure. And so what are you manifesting for 2021? You as a musician, as a person, what are some of the things you want in the upcoming year?
I need to level up in every way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think if stuff starts to open up again,
Mm,
that's a good time to, you know, expend your energy
for sure.
on the things that you want.
Hell yeah.
So I see a lot of work for next year of making a lot of cool shit,
Mm,
playing a lot of stuff.
cool.
That's what I want to manifest is a busy year of making and playing music.
Staying creative.
Yeah.
Giving that hope, that hopeful message to the people. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. For me, it's like I do want to play music
Mm.
so that when you hear it, you fucking dig it. You know, that sounds simple, right?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like, that's it. I just want you to hear it and be like, oh shit, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, what's that? I haven't heard that before.
Well, I respect the simplicity, simple man in the
Yeah.
galaxy. That's all we are, really.
Got to keep it simple.
So you're gonna do a little acoustic performance for us.
Yeah, I'll do a track for you.
Andy Pedroza, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Truanseez. Boom. Hell yeah.
Yeah, good shit, man.
Let's hope we never change. You look the same today. We met before so much, we'll never be the same. You and I have always been money. Just ask all our friends. My brother even speaks about a fancy day. How could they know what it's like? I'm here for you, Mel. You ain't gotta do all that. I know you do. I recall 2 weeks with you when it felt we were more than friends, spinning out of cabs. You know I spoke too soon. So see you soon. Let's hope we never change. You look the same today. We met before so much, we'll never be the same. Take me to a time when you're mine and I'm yours in your mind, and I'm yours in your mind.
Emmanuel Pedroza, everybody. Go stream EP1 and Above the Earth for now on all major platforms. Good night.